So very first thing we'll do is understanding role of AI in document processing. That will try to understand basics of invoice processing, text processing through images. That point also we will consider. Then optical character recognition, that we call OCR in abbreviation. About that also I'm going to discuss. Then we'll explore some deep learning models that we can utilize for invoice data extraction, and ultimately we will deploy a Python based case study for text extraction using OCR. So I'll use some models that are already available in Python repositories, and with the help of them we will try to deploy one case study as well. So if you want to do practical implementation, definitely after discussing the theoretical concept, we can do that together. If you are sitting with your laptops, it will be good to do that together. But before I move to the case study, we'll talk about some theoretical basics of the topic. First, about fundamentals of document processing, why we need it, and what type of applications in this area you will find. And if you are planning to conduct some research analysis in this particular domain, then what kind of topics you can consider. All these things we are going to discuss. So when we talk about document processing, it is generally linked to automatic handling of documents, just to extract relevant text out of them, to interpret the context of the text that we have on those documents, as well as to organize information that is contained in those documents. It could be in any of these application bases. The idea is to convert raw documents that could be in the form of paper based scan images or some digital files into a structured machine readable data set. We need to create a data that can be understood by a machine learning model or deep learning model for making certain kind of predictions based on the application that we are building. The core idea behind document processing is to make information accessible and usable for the business workflows. One application, if we can consider in terms of entrepreneurship. However, it holds its importance in almost every area, whether it is about maintaining patient records in the medical community. They get several reports from the different types of tests. It may be x-rays, ct scans, blood sample reports. So they all come in the form of some physical documents generally, or they can be some scanned versions or PDF files, etc. So if we need to store that in some usable or accessible text, we need to use document processing algorithms for that, so that we can extract relevant information for patient data, and we can fill that into maybe some relevant Excel sheets or maybe some relevant format we can create out of that. That could help your doctors later on in decision making. So instead of reading all the reports manually, they could get a key highlight directly by just viewing the summary created by a AI model. That is a general idea behind document processing, and it goes with even legal areas, even in research communities. Like if you have to process maybe some published manuals or published manuscript, etc., and you want to extract some relevant information out of them, specific text out of them, there also you need document processing. So there is indeed a large range of applications in this particular domain. And process flow, first of all, if we talk about for document processing, the idea is to acquire your document first, whether it is about scanned images or some digital files you may have like PDF or images, etc. Then pre-process them. We need to correct their orientation, some standard formats we need to use. If images have some annotations, etc., that we may have to remove. And then we can proceed further with text extraction by using maybe OCR based techniques. Once we have extracted relevant text, and then in the next stage we can organize that extracted information into some usable format, and ultimately for validation or verification purpose we can utilize it, or if we want to make some prediction, we can integrate deep learning models into, and this can give us some real time insights from the documents. And ultimately we can integrate the outcomes with some backend systems in different applications that can guide further decision making. So in this entire process, if we have to do this thing manually, it is a very time consuming process. That is why we think of some automated solutions. And this automation can be easily deployed with advanced techniques like deep learning, machine learning, etc. They can help you to extract and make relevant outcomes out of this document processing. The key areas of application we can consider, first I'll highlight here invoices. We will discuss this in detail also. In case of invoices, we have like automatic extraction of invoice number, date of invoice, supplier, and even any item details, total or taxes, etc. So if you need, like if you want to create an invoice data set from the list of invoices that you have gathered, or maybe you want an application somewhere on your phone that you just put a picture of invoice from your today's purchase, and everything about your purchase it can put somewhere in your online cloud based software, so that you can keep a track of whatever you have shopped into and wherever you have spent money. This goes very precisely with the business houses, because they need to keep track of all the purchases that they have made, and this uh, invoice processing can help them to manage all these things easily. Similarly, it can speed up the process, the account. It can reduce the manual errors in the payment processing, as well as in any kind of extraction that otherwise may be mishandled by human beings. So that application also we can achieve. And it also enables early detection of any kind of duplicate invoices or frauds, etc., that are otherwise difficult to handle by human beings, because they cannot always remember that this invoice has come earlier or not. If we give them like 100 200 invoices, it is difficult to remember for them. But AI models are good enough to detect these duplicate invoices, so that we do not enter same invoice time and again into the database that could otherwise affect our budget considerations in the business houses. Similarly, for contracts, etc., sometimes we need to extract information about critical clauses in the contract, dates, or the parties involved, or any kind of obligations associated with the contracts. It could be even about insurance policies, health insurance, vehicle insurance, etc. If you need to gather some relevant details, some clauses or obligations from that, these applications can help you easily. They can even enable in life cycle management of the contract, like if you have identified dates, etc. The renewal dates also can be created, and the software can send you automatic alerts about renewal of your contracts time to time. So that could ease your overall process. And it also facilitates in risk assessment as well as audit readiness. Form processing is another area of application here, like digitizing paper forms from surveys or different kind of text filings, etc. If we can create a digital record of them, that could be a great option for OCR based detection. And it could be extracting some relevant fields like names, addresses, or dates, or some kind of signatures, or the amount payable, etc. Those things it can extract easily for accurate data collection for business decisions. Few other types of document processing application we can consider is like some receipts we can process, some legal documents we can process for litigation purpose, healthcare records, as I gave you already an idea, maybe to deal with patient conditions, and even for the insurance claims. In both cases, we can consider it. And for the ID document verification also, we can use these kind of algorithms or OCR or deep learning based methods, so that any fraud can be detected. If someone is carrying a fake ID card in physical form, we can just track it easily and we can identify any kind of frauds. Although there are plenty of traditional approaches used for document processing, but they always come with some challenges. Initially, it was all a manual effort, and in that case, the main problem was labor intensive and slow operation, because handling huge amount of document is a tough task to do manually. And also, it always leads to high risk of human error and inconsistencies. So that challenge we have faced over decades. And now, since we are into the digital world, we are looking forward for some advanced solutions. So it is getting easier with time now, since we are having some softwares to deal with the issue. Also, the variability of document formats was also a challenge in traditional document processing, because sometimes documents may have different layouts, they have different fonts, languages, or even handwriting, etc. So it is generally difficult to create a standard template for all kind of documents, because it may, majority of time it may keep things stuck for the processing purpose. Then data quality issues can be also there sometime, depending upon how your document was scanned initially. If there are some blurry text or smudges, etc., or any kind of distortions that are affecting readability on your document, that could be an issue in traditional processing. Then scaling issues are there sometimes. Scaling leads to increased volumes of the data, and this always need higher number of manpower, and it leads to cost factor, as well as leads to inefficient operations over time. Similarly, data privacy and security concerns are there, because sensitive data we cannot always handle in manual operations. Sometimes we need softwares to deal with it directly so that it doesn't get revealed to any individual on the other side. So that also makes sense for having AI based document processing. And with the emerging technologies or new age models that we have from the AI domain, they are a game changer in this industry, the invoice and document processing industry. So, why we can recommend AI models for this purpose? AI introduces intelligent data extraction and organization abilities. It is a capable, these models are capable enough to handle any kind of variability in the document or complexity based in comparison to your traditional techniques that we have used over the year. So with AI based systems, it could be like deep learning models we can consider. They can help you to understand specific patterns from your images or PDF documents. They can capture specific handwritings or layout, etc., and that can go easily beyond a simple OCR. Similarly, they can preserve the contextual understanding also. Some advanced deep learning models like LLM models, etc., they are capable enough to preserve the contextual meanings also from the text, and accordingly, they can suggest some decision making procedures further. And error detection also with AI, because it can easily detect common mistakes made by general OCR systems, and it can provide better outcomes based on the auto improvements that models keep on making based on their robustness in the training process. AI models in this document processing applications automatically enhance your efficiency of the system, and there are several reasons behind it. First is it leads to automation of complex tasks, because extracting huge amount of data from some unstructured form of document is a complicated thing for human beings. So it these AI models are helping us to extract all these relevant details without requiring any manual labor. At the same time, it offers fast processing. So the same thing, if can be done by human beings for maybe a week or a month, AI models can do that within just few hours. So it is going to save much time, and it offers continuous learning as well. For the human being, sometime it could be stagnation in the technology. Sometime they may take longer time to learn things or to adapt to the changes in the system. But AI models are adaptable also, depending upon how they are designed. So they can improve over time, they can learn from the feedbacks, and they can reduce the chances of errors and the requirements of corrections with time. They are also capable enough to handle diverse type of documents. For example, AI models can deal with multi-format documents that includes even images, PDFs, or handwritten notes, as well as some digital documents. Any of these they can process together. Then language and script flexibility also you will find with these diverse document types, and AI models are capable enough to handle variety of languages. Similarly, layout adaptability also they offer, because irrespective of what kind of content you have in your document, maybe some tables, different layouts, or some figures, etc., are available in your documents. So AI models can process everything easily. They offer scalability for high volume workflows as well. Like for cloud based deployment, these AI powered documents can help us to put things easily on cloud so that they can be accessed from anywhere easily. They offer batch and real time processing. For instance, they can handle your wide amount of data in real time and provide quick decision making opportunities, and they are cost efficient also on the larger scale in comparison to the manual labor if we want to handle large set of documents. So while moving further, let us talk a little bit about OCR and its role in document processing, and then we will learn how further it can be improved with the integration of AI. So this optical character recognition initially is defined as a technology that helps you to convert different document formats, that could be images, PDF files, or some kind of scanned documents, into a searchable or editable digital data. That is the main purpose of having a OCR based technology deployment. The key features of this OCR technology is that it can recognize both handwritten text as well as printed data. Similarly, it can process various types of font sizes and text alignments easily, because these OCR models are trained on large amount of data, and they can easily understand what is happening behind. They can preserve the context, and they can give suggestions based on that, and they can preserve variety of versions of fonts or alignments within your documents. They are also capable enough to convert your static or unstructured data into a specific machine readable format automatically. So that also saves much of your time. OCRs can reduce your reliance on the manual data entry. They can accelerate your workflows, and similarly, they can facilitate in the digitalization process of your age old data. In order to work, the first step in the OCR is the image acquisition, and that could be any kind of images, even some scanned documents, photographs, anything that you want to process. You first need to gather it, and depending upon what kind of formats your model can access, accordingly you can supply models. Generally, the PNG, JPG, and PDF files are easily handled by OCR systems. Then, talking about image processing in this area, we need to improve the recognition accuracy based on some pre-processing techniques. It could be binderizing your data by, like, maybe converting images to black and white so that easily we can process information without putting more burden on the documents, on your models. Similarly, deskewing your data if there are any misalignments in the text or any tilted text you have in your document, so it can be handled easily. Then noise removal is also a requirement in the pre-processing stage. Chances are that sometimes you will have artifacts within your document, some kind of smudges or speckles, etc. You may find. Sometimes some sensitive data or sensitive information also you have on the document. So if you want to remove that in the pre-processing stage, we can do that easily. In the next step, we do text detection. So for this, we first try to identify the areas on the image that are containing text, because sometimes there may be other things also, some lines or some other disturbances also. So we first try to identify the area in which relevant text is present. And then those text blocks are segmented by using a specific structure or layout, depending upon what type of OCR model you are using. And then in the next step, we work on character recognition. So we try to recognize the individual characters, or we try to convert them into some digitalized format so that they can be searched easily. We can edit them, or we can convert them further into some machine readable text for deploying machine learning algorithms, or maybe some kind of pattern matching exercises. The idea here is to do image to text transformation with OCR, and for this we first try to analyze image pixels to identify some patterns that resemble with the characters. Many of you might have done character recognition type case studies. They are some of the most basic case studies people learn while working on deep learning models. So those character recognition case studies are based on the pattern that resembles certain characters, and based on that only the predictions are made. So this is the context here also. Then the transformation pipeline here, that we can create first extract pixels, then identify text regions from this, then identify specific characters from it, then join those characters to create words, and finally connect those words to create sentence, so that your entire information we can extract easily in this transformation process. Some example workflow we can talk about is scanned invoice images that include maybe invoice information, total amount paid, or date information, etc. So this could be the extracted information from a invoice image. While working on text extraction from scanned documents, there are plenty of elements that you will find in those documents, such as it could be invoice numbers, totals, or dates, etc. So you may need to convert them into structured data. Generally, you will get these documents with the unstructured data reference, but you can convert it into structured data by processing it initially. Then any kind of relevant text extraction or format adjustment or layout adjustment, if we have to do that also, we can supply. And post processing stage is all about spelling correction or any kind of language related enhancements. You might have heard that at present people are using slang type languages also. So in order to deal with those scenarios as well, some language based enhancements we can make to make things more justifiable for the modeling further. Some of the most popular OCR tools that I can highlight here, generally they are categorized into two sections. Some are open source tools that are freely available and you can use them easily. And there are some commercial solutions also that are uh, preferably used by some enterprises or businesses, etc., to deal with their specific sensitive data. So make sure whenever you choose a tool for certain sensitive application, it should be accurate and reliable enough to deal with that data. It could be like in the banking application or maybe in case of medical healthcare application, because you have very sensitive data in that case. So make sure you choose the right tool to proceed with your data analysis in that case. Moving forward with the popular tool that we have in OCR, Tesseract. This is very commonly used. This was initially developed by HP and now maintained by Google. And it supports more than 100 languages, which is a great thing. You can process text in any form with the help of this particular tool. And it can recognize text in scanned documents as well as images for easy understanding. Furthermore, the key features of it we can analyze is like integration with Python via some this PyTesserKit library we already have in Python platform. This is already available by default, so you can call it directly from there and start extracting your data from this. And for this further, there are options to pre-process images for improved accuracy. So within the Python environment itself, you can pre-process things easily. You can deploy different pipelines to enhance overall accuracy of your model easily. However, it comes with few limitations also. That is a common trend with all the tools and techniques we have. So the common limitations include like it needs high quality images for reliable outputs. That is more important, and it is slower in comparison to your commercial alternatives such as large scale processing, etc. Then it becomes a slow solution, and it offers limited solution or support for some complex layouts, especially when you have documents with a mixture of text and tables, etc. So in that case it gets a little difficult, and it requires some technical expertise for fine tuning and training also. So for some beginner level deployment it will be a little bit complicated. The second option, the commercial OCR tool we have is like Google Vision API. This can help you to handle cloud based services offering OCR and advanced document understanding also. It helps you to integrate OCR with AI powered features, and it can assist in sentiment analysis also up to some level, because it can handle multiple languages together, and it can also deal with the handwriting recognition. So plenty of applications you can solve with the help of this Google based module. The essential features that we can recommend here, it includes scalability of this particular tool because it is already designed on very large volumes of data. It is now capable enough to handle variety of information from your raw text in real time, and the pre-trained model for text and layout recognition can be deployed easily. And it also comes with some advanced capabilities such as extracting fields from structured documents such as invoice, etc. There also we can use it directly. However, it comes with few limitations as well, like it needs internet connectivity for processing because it is a cloud-based solution, so that you need always. And this subscription cost may be high because this is designed as a business level solution. So accordingly, you may have to make decision about whether you can use it for your application or not. One more commercial tool available for this purpose is available from Amazon, TextRect we call it. Within this model, there are some machine learning based practices that are preferred. And within these models, you can also consider like some part of AWS services you can include side by side. And it is designed for seamless integration into cloud based workflows. And also the key features of this include like it can detect tables, forums, and even complex document fields also very easily. So for this, what we can do is highly scalable solutions. When you need for enterprise grade solutions, then definitely you can consider this one. So this kind of tools, this Amazon TextRect as well as this Google Vision API, these two are suitable for Indian language context also. Like someone is also asking in the chat box that which one you can use for the Indian language, like uh, Sanskrit and Kashmiri. I'm not sure specific about Sanskrit and Kashmiri, but this Amazon TextRect as well as this Google Vision API, it can handle plenty of English, in Hindi languages or Indian languages. So Hindi, Tamil, Gujarati, or Kannada, etc., it can process easily with the help of your initial designs. And even Tesseract OCR can also handle few of Indian languages. But indeed, for your Sanskrit text digitization, in that case, one recommendation I can give is like Parinamika OCR is designed by some researchers. It is designed by some IIT Bombay based researchers, but I'm not sure how well it is working in real context because you may need to read their research papers for this. But yes, option you can try is like Parinamika OCR is there, and this is specifically for the Sanskrit language. Other models also you can find for some region specific languages. There is a very long list, and many of them are available as an open source solutions also, so that may help you further. Now, in order to choose a tool for your OCR detection, what we have to keep in mind, the very first thing is, since I have given you few options that we have discussed already, so among these, if you have to choose how you can make analysis initially, for Tesseract you can go when you need a free and customizable tool for small scale project. This is a freely available source, but it cannot handle very large data sets. So small applications it can go well, and then it can also require some technical expertise as well as fine tuning expertise from your side. So if you are good enough with that, so you can deploy this model easily. However, on the other side, if you are looking forward for some real time solution on OCR detection or some applications that can be run online on the cloud interface directly, so for that, this Google Vision API can be a good solution. It can handle diverse document types and it has ability to process multiple languages altogether. So that could add to your benefit. So when you need multi-language processing support, this could be a better option. And Amazon TextRect we have in case if you need to focus on some structured documents such as forms or invoices, then we recommend this Amazon TextRect. You can go ahead with this because it has seamless integration over structured details and it can extract them very well. Moving ahead with deep learning for document understanding, and for this we have plenty of models that are already designed and we can integrate them with OCR libraries. These deep learning models can help you to gather data from the OCR level and take it further for predictions based on what data we have gathered during the OCR processing. So deep learning models can help you to extract the semantic meaning of the specific text available in your images, in your documents, etc., so that we can make some decisions based on that data analysis. And at the same time, it can also identify relationship between different elements of your document, like headers, tables, or footers, etc. For that intelligent analysis, deep learning may be useful. So initially what we can do is like during the conversion from image to text, this OCR based capabilities can be useful, and then when we have to understand that text extracted by the OCR element, then we can deploy this deep learning model further. And these deep learning based models can help you to understand your text in more precise manner for better categorization and classification purpose. Some of the most commonly used deep learning models in this area include CNN, that all of you might have used very precisely. We have also used in other applications in previous case studies. So this may help you to extract relevant visual features from the document layouts directly, like logos or headers, etc. One more thing we have is RNN and LSTMs are also being used. They are a part of recurrent neural networks. So we can consider them as well for if there is any kind of sequential data to be processed, because LSTM and RNN are more concerned about sequential details in your data. Other than this, transformers are also precisely used. They can help you to get context aware embeddings from your document. And for this, some commonly used models include BERT or Layout LM and a Layout LM version 3 also, that is a little bit advanced capabilities we have with that. So all any of these models you can choose based on your requirements. Layout LM is one of the most popular model for text extraction from images or document, etc. And the reason behind its more popularity is that it can handle variety of documents easily, and it makes context aware decisions, because this transformer is already designed with the context embeddings, and it can understand the meaning of the sentences, and it can recommend things in a better manner based on what is contained inside a text, even if it is unstructured information. It also handles the layout of the documents in a very precise manner, so that we can develop a better structural understanding from the documents, whether it is a legal document or certain kind of manuscript we are processing. And these documents are these models are image aware also. Like sometimes we have a text file in which some images are also included. So some models fail to extract information from those images. It doesn't understand meaning. But this layout LM is designed to understand information from the images also that are incorporated into your documents. So that leads to better outcomes for your real-time applications. And it can be generally utilized for extracting fields from the forms. That is one common application. It can be also used to pre-process invoices and receipt as well, and for document classification as well. These are some of the popular applications. Coming to the workflow of deep learning for document understanding, the very first part, once you have gathered your text from OCR level, then our first task is to clean and pre-process that data. And it may require us to do binarization. We may need to deskew our data if it is not well aligned. We may need to remove any kind of noise or unwanted elements or annotations, etc., from data. And we can even convert documents into a structured format that can be handled by the models further easily. In the second level, the feature extraction we need to talk about, and there are plenty of methods that can be used for feature extraction. But when we talk in terms of deep learning, the transformers these days are getting more popularity for feature extraction purpose, and you will find plenty of models in this area. CNN can be also used for extracting visual features. If you're talking in terms of images, then visual features we can extract with CNNs. If there are text-based analysis to be done, then transformers can be a good recommendation. Furthermore, we have to do the model training and we have to gather inference from the model. And for this, we need a huge amount of training data set. Preferably, a labeled data set is required for better understanding a structured kind of data set that you may have created in the pre-process stage that will try to deploy on pre-trained models such as layout, LM, or BERT, etc. And that helps us to extract relevant information from processed document, and it could recommend something, and if there are any kind of spell checks or validations etc required, that can be also done at post processing stages. So completely depends on what kind of objectives you are trying to achieve, what hypothesis you have in your mind. Accordingly, you can integrate different types of models together. Some benefits of using deep learning in invoice processing include your AI models offer robustness and variation in handling invoice formats. It could be based on the designs, layouts, or different kind of representations, because you will never find a standard format for invoice in every business house. You go to restaurant, you get a different type of invoice. You get to some showrooms, you get different types of invoice. But if you want to process them together to create a structured data set at one point, that may require a very robust model that can handle all varieties of your invoices altogether. So deep learning offers that edge. It can help you to understand even structured as well as unstructured way of information from the documents easily, and you can process it to make relevant decisions about maybe vendors, suppliers, etc. on the business platform. Similarly, it can preserve the contextual understanding of relationships between different fields that we have in invoice processing applications. Like, for instance, they can help us to manage context awareness from a range of text values. Uh, they can also help us to link item descriptions with the corresponding prices or quantities etc, so that we can justify the invoice processing accordingly. The pricing analysis etc also we can do based on the quantity and type of goods that have been purchased by the business houses. And then ultimately we can also understand complex layout and uh, unstructured information available in any kind of invoices, so that some logical structure can be deployed by extracting relevant information from it. It offers improved extraction accuracy for the critical fields as well, like maybe specific fields you want to target from the invoices. That could be like totals, dates, or tax amounts, or maybe vendor information. So you can focus on those specific details also by deploying an intelligent deep learning model. This can help us to minimize the manual corrections, also improve the reliability on the downstream applications, especially for your auditing process and financial management in a business house. Furthermore, it offers you scalability for high value volume processing, because generally business houses have like a very big bunch of invoices to process every month or maybe even every day. So how well they are able to deal with that huge amount of data in real amount, that completely depends on robustness of a deep learning model that they have deployed. So a good quality deep learning model will always offer scalability issue. It will reduce your operational cost, and it will offer you timely solutions for any kind of decision making based on the tracked pattern from your invoices. Deep learning models can also assist in error detection and correction as well. So if some anomalies are found in the invoices, it can help you to get timely alerts or triggers, or it can help you to prevent any costly mistakes in your financial reporting also. So in auditing and in tax formation also, everywhere this deep learning model can help you easily to track data. Highlighting some applications and real world use cases from document processing using AI. First is the financial industry we can talk about, and invoice and receipt processing I have already discussed. Other than this, it can be used for expense management in the industries or in big business houses, where we can track different types of investments made by the business or any kind of expenses made by the business. Everything we can align together by processing all documents at a similar platform. Then in the legal sector also, it can be used for contract analysis to understand clauses within the contract, to check if there is any risky term or any flagged entry we have within the contract that can be highlighted ahead of time, so that any mistake we can avoid while signing some major contracts. In the healthcare industry, it can be used for patient record digitalization, and we can ensure that even the handwritten medical records or any kind of reports of the patients, any history of the patient can be documented easily, and we can bring it to a structured format online by using OCR in combination with AI. It can also assist in handling insurance claims by automating the entire extraction process, and while supporting the documents of all type, whether you have some different layouts or different file formats also. One more use case, that automation of invoice processing we can consider here. The main challenge in this case is that if it is done manually, it is a very time consuming process. With OCR, we can extract scanned images easily. And then with deep learning further, we can detect fields like vendor name, total, and dates, etc. easily. And further, it can assist us in validation, like whether some fraud investments are made by some intermediate people within the business, or if there are some unwanted transactions made by people, or there are some sudden hikes in the purchase amounts, everything can be tracked easily. Furthermore, the second use case with the contract analysis, the main challenge here is that there are some critical clauses and obligations that sometimes are beyond the expertise of manual processing. Sometimes people who are reading the contracts are not able to understand the actual meaning of some domain specific terminologies or obligations added. But your AI based models or natural language processing models can help you to understand those clauses better. It can provide reference to everything, and it can assist in your better contract signing opportunities, so that you do not get messed up with some unreliable businesses further. It can even make risk assessment in terms of any missing information in your contract, so that you can revise it in a timely manner. Few emerging trends in this area we can talk about, like advanced layout aware models such as layout LM version 3 has been already designed by researchers, and it helps us to deal with diverse range of documents. That could be even combination of text, image, and variable layout structures without compromising over the accuracy. It can help you to integrate easily with business workflows, like with resource management or your financial management. Everywhere we can integrate these AI based document processings easily. Real time document understanding can be influenced with the use of AI in this domain, and enhanced privacy and security also, where we don't want to give any sensitive document to any manual labor for processing. We can put it directly into the AI models. And then multi-language processing and handwriting support also is provided by these AI based models, so that can enhance your outcomes in the long run. So with this, I'll just summarize whatever we have discussed till now. We talked about the manual challenges or errors that we can have with document processing. Then we talked about OCR application in this area. We saw that how different commercial and freely available models can help us with different capabilities. And then we explored the benefit of deep learning in this area, how it can lead to a context aware understanding from different applications, and can provide us better decision making abilities in every area. So the key takeaways from here are, like, AI offers streamlined solutions. OCR is always the foundation because that helps you to extract data or extract text from scanned documents or images. Deep learning is precisely used for enhancing accuracy and to understand the contextual information from the text gathered from the OCR level. And it offers a great real world impact in almost every industry, wherever text processing or invoice processing or any kind of image and document processing is a common procedure. So this is all on the theoretical background for the topic that we could discuss about document processing and different tools and technologies that can be utilized for this purpose. Now I'll come to the implementation part. And for this, I'll take help from PyTesseract that we have already discussed in your theoretical part also. And I'll also deploy a lightweight model to extract relevant details from invoices. I'll create some sample synthetic data itself here, and I'll try to process it with that, because gathering data from some online sources will require more time, and we may need to process it, pre-process it with in-depth details here. But I'll just, for your understanding, I'll create a basic case study by using a synthetic data set that I'll create with some relevant details right here itself. So for this, the very first thing, as we all know, we need to install some relevant libraries that are required for this particular application, and I need Tesseract for this. So I'll write here by Tesseract. I'll install first of all. It doesn't come by default in our system, so we need to install it. Similarly, I need one more PyTorch lighting library I'll need for deploying a deep learning model, a lightweight deep learning model basically at later stage. So for that, PyTorch help I'm taking. And this installation on the second stage I'm doing. If anyone is doing side by side, they can let me know so that I can wait for them accordingly. Otherwise, I'll just proceed ahead with the codes here. I have a typo here. Let me just correct this one. So this is a bigger library. It will take a little bit of time because it has so many dependencies. So it will just update them one by one, and then it will be ready on your system. So in the meanwhile, I can put up the next portion, that is to import relevant libraries. And inside this, a range of libraries I'll need. Many of them we have already used in previous sessions, so I think I may need not to explain each one of them separately. But yes, you can see the list that we are using here. I'm using OpenCV also, because that is the best way to work on computer vision applications where you have to extract data from some images directly. PyTesseract also I have imported. I have installed it already, so I can import it directly. Then from PyTorch that I have installed recently, PyTorch Lightning module I have obtained from here. I'll get a specific module that I can deploy further, and a trainer that can help me to build up my model further. So these two elements I'll get from PyTorch itself. I'll import Torch also, and from Torch I'll get utils.data. This I'll use for data loader, because I told you that I'll be creating a synthetic data set. So these elements I'll need for the same. This one I'll need a dot here. After this, I'll need from Torch Vision transformers, as I'll call some transformers for processing my data easily. And then matplotlib, if I need to do any kind of plotting task, then I can use it depending upon the available time. I have just imported it, and if it is required, I can use it accordingly. So this is now successfully installed, and there are so many dependencies that it has updated. So you can see a long list here. This is a heavy library. It contains plenty of algorithms behind. So once we are ready with this, let me just update this. This is transforms. So I'll just run this, and once all libraries are ready, I can start generating synthetic data. I'll also try to show you with a real invoice image so that you can understand how it is working. But depending upon time, initially I'm generating a synthetic data only. So for this, I'll create a function first, generating synthetic data. For this, I need a output folder because several JPG or PNG format of invoices you can create depending upon what kind of images you need for invoices, and you can put some information in those. I'll put some basic details only. You can later on enhance them based on your requirements. The number of images I'll create only 10, because depending upon the size of data we may have to wait longer for running our model. So I'm creating a very small data set with 10 images only. So that number of images I have updated. Now I'll just make a directory in my, with the help of my OS library. This thing we have done in the previous case studies also. Then I'll put up my output folder and I'll check if my library exists, sorry, if my folder exists or not. That we will verify. Currently there is no folder. If you observe, just sample data is there, no other folder is there. So if we want that folder, we'll be executing this portion of data and then only that folder will be created further. So after this, further I'll use a for loop for I in range of num images, because I'll be creating 10 images. So I'm creating a for loop for this here. It will be iterating through I number of values. So maybe from 0 to 9, total 10 images it will be creating. And then it will be generating image every time. And in order to generate an image, we have a very simple thing. The size of image I'm adding here with 3 channel information. Images generally we represent with 3 channel information. So that I have added. Data type I'm passing is np.uint8. That is the most preferred format for your initial structure of image data. And inside this I'll use multiplied by 255 because 3 channel image I'm creating. So this I'm using, and this by default will add a white background. Basically this entire setting that I'm deploying here, it will add a white background on my image first of all by this 255 multiplication. Then I'll update CV2 and I'll try to put text on my this white background image. So what I'll do is put text on image. What will be my first text? Generally what we have on invoices, it could be like invoice, maybe date, maybe total, or maybe items, etc. So I'll be creating a very basic version in which I'll pass here invoice first of all. And because observe here, invoice number will keep on changing, it will not stay same. So I'm using this formatter over here. And for ensuring this change, I'll just iterate through this I plus 1 every time. So I will initially start from 0 and it will go to 10. So from 0 to 10, 0 to 9 it will count, and plus 1 I have added. So your invoices will automatically have invoice number 1 to invoice number 10. So that is unique invoice IDs I'm creating. Then I have added its position wherever I need invoice ID on my that white background image. Then CV2, here I'm passing font information. This is one of the simply used technique for font. I'm using simplex font over here, so I'll try this one. There are different font techniques. I'm using one basic option here, and inside this I'll pass some elements where you will observe while I'm developing this put text section. In this, it is helping us to create new numbers ranging from 1 to 10 for every invoice. Further, this 50 to 100, this is a tuple that is representing coordinates for the placement of this invoice related information. And then further, in this section, we are putting the font related information. The first one in this section, it is representing your, this one is the font scale factor. the size of text that you are representing. You can have different size, you can add 1, 2, 3, anything over here depending upon what size of text you need. Then this 000 represents generally your RGB information. So if you adding some value in this, it will automatically get blue, green and red values based on that. I'm using 000 here, so it will automatically create black color text on white background. White background I have already set by using 255 here. So with 000 it will add black color text, and ultimately this 2 is representing thickness of the stroke that I'm using. So that also we have justified in the sequence. Now based on this I can add other details also, like along with invoice I need maybe the total amount that the person has paid. So for this, that could be like maybe a static text I'll add. Otherwise you can add it based on the items orders, but I'm creating a very basic version only. So I'm writing maybe like in dollars I have written 123.5, and remaining details for the position I'll use here 200, slightly below your invoice, but at the same column level I'll keep it. And then the remaining things I'll keep as it is because the font I need not to change. I'll copy this portion and I'll put it here. And now in the next section I'll write here date. And for example, date I'll also use common. You can add it variable also, just creating a basic format of date only. So a random date I have added, for instance, here. So these are the entries that I need. Other than this also, if you need anything on your synthetic invoice, that is your choice, you can update that. In my case I'm writing just only essential details that we can see on the images. So then I'm passing it on the path of my output folder, and here I'll pass the invoice number that will be added to the name of the images that I'm creating. So invoice 1, invoice 2, invoice 3, etc., with the reference of its PNG type image I'm creating, and it will be saved within your image sequence that we are creating from initial level here. So this is a initial synthetic text generation technique I have used, and along with this I'll use maybe the display sequence as well. So if I want to display these things one by one, so for that also I can create one function to see what kind of images are being created. I'll add here image path, and then image is equal to, I can take help from OpenCV again. I'll read this. Inside this I'll pass my image path from wherever I want to read a sample image. You can even iterate through images at your choice. I'll use just a fixed selection to just see what kind of images I have created with this synthetic data. Size of figure for displaying image I have added. Then plot show, I'll add here to see that image. And if you need any axes etc you want to control, that also I can do, because this is an invoiced image. I don't want to have any axes around it, that I can turn off. And the title of this I can is like synthetic image that I have created, or synthetic invoice that I have created, and ultimately I can show this. So these two functions I have created, and now I can deploy them. First is generate synthetic data. This is the function that I have created, and if we observe here, this one exactly I'm using. And then in the second level I'll write here display image. So this will be based on the folder wherever we are creating this. So first I'll check by generating this image, then I'll deploy, so that we can identify the folder first wherever it will be created. So let me just generate. Here you can see maybe there is a typo somewhere I have added. This I made synthesis data. So that is why it is creating this kind of folder. If I need exact name, because it will be used for the assessment later on also. Okay, so in that case, I'll use this as it is, or I'll just try to rewrite it. Folder to display images over here. I'll write display image function, and within this I'll pass this data and image. If I try to see any of these, I can open up. You can see invoice 1 2 3 4 like this, they are appearing. So I'll write here invoice maybe 10 I want to see. So that path I can add. Let us see what kind of synthetic data they have created. Let me check. Okay, I have not passed type. So this is currently the text I have created. There is a typo. I may have not adjusted this element. So I'll make this 300, then it should be fine. So now this is fine. I can see these three things I have added into synthetic invoice, and currently this is invoice number 10. And accordingly, you can add more number of invoices as well. So now from this custom data sets, you can create your different classes to make it useful for your different kind of analysis, maybe for your OCR, for your other type of decision making. Currently, what I'll do is from this data set, I'll try to extract images and labels. Labels will be based on what names we have given to the images, and then exact image patterns will be extracting from the inside information. So I'll write here custom dataset class I'll try to create, and inside this I'll pass here class invoice dataset. Inside this I'll pass my recently created synthetic dataset. Then I'll initialize here elements for this class. First I'll pass self, and then I'll pass the folder in which I have stored my data. So this is synthetic data. Then I need not to transform anything initially, so I'll keep it none. If you want to use any kind of transformation, that you can pass based on the requirement. And then inside this, the instances I'm creating self folder. This will be linked to the folder that I have initialized with the name right here. Then inside this I have images, so I'll be creating an instance for them as well. And for this os dot path dot join folder dot image, because within folder we have images, and then in order to fill in this, we will iterate through images in that particular directory wherever we have stored our this particular folder. So I'm writing here image in OS directory folder. If image ends with PNG, I have specified it that I want to process only PNG images. This is optional. If you want to do any other type of images, that also you can do. Currently, I'm making it strict that only PNG images I'll be processing with it. Similarly, I'll pass here self transform is equal to transform at one more instance in the sequence. So this should be fine up to here, and then I can come to the next definition, and for that I'll go with the length. This will help me to get the number of images I have within, so that I can create my processes accordingly during the transformation process. One more section I'm creating here, that is to get items from your folder accordingly. So for this I'll pass here self and unique IDs that will be representing each image within the specific path that I have assigned for my images. So image path I'll write here, then image, then ID of those images that I'll be passing. IDs we always keep within square brackets, so that I'm passing. Then I'll be using CV for reading these images from respective path. and that too with the help of image read. And I'll make sure that I'm reading it in grayscale format. So I'll pass here CV2 I am read grayscale so that it gets specific format only based on it. This one I'll be keeping dot here, and image path is fine. Okay, this one I'll make img so it will match with this one. Now next to this I'll go with the label. Currently we are keeping only a dummy label because that will be required by the model, since we are not making any kind of classification from the model, like anything based on total etc. We don't want to make any classification, so I'm just passing a dummy label that will be required by the model, because generally models are designed in such a manner that they look forward to a label. So that I have added as a sample label here. And then for the transformation purpose, every time whenever we get the image from the previous sequence, that we will be transforming, and it will return us the image as well as the label. So these two things we will get in return from this invoice dataset class. So this will help us to customize our dataset to get it from the specific folders whenever we need it. And I'll deploy this class within another class further so that I can pass this data easily to a deep learning model. So I'll just run this part. I may have a typo somewhere. Let me check which portion is missing. OS path we have joined, folder we have added, image we have added. This comma is unnecessary here, so I can just run it. This looks fine. So the next portion I'll create here. As I told you initially that I'll be creating a simple deep learning model, and for that I have already loaded a lightning module, and that only I'll be using for my simple OCR model. And inside this I'll pass lightning module that we have called right in the beginning. And again, the classes for this I'll define further. First instance I'm putting up is self. Inside this, a superclass I'm creating for easy access to the initial elements of my this particular class. And then I'm passing a self model, and within this sequential model by default I'm taking. This is the most basic version of model you will have. Furthermore, NN convolution 2D I'm passing, and this with a specific input size and kernel size I'll pass. So kernel size I'm keeping 3, for example. Stride is equal to 1, that is your uh, window shift sequence we represent with the stride. I hope you have gone through it with your basic CNN sessions. Next to this, we may need a ReLU activation function I'm deploying with it. After this, I'm passing a maxpool 2D layer, and inside this the kernel size I'll be passing again is 2, and then stride also I'm passing is 2. After this I'll add a flatten layer. This is like simple a simple CNN model like structure we are creating with it. And then we have the linear layer by the end. Completely depends on what type of data we are processing. Based on that only we pass parameters. So I'm just passing some basic parameters here, and we are trying to process a very simple data set that is not even colorful in nature. We have just some black and white data within that image that only we need to extract from here. So this sigmoid I have passed in sequence. After this, the next function I'll define is forward, and this will be for forwarding initial features extracted with the CNN model that we have deployed at initial stage. To the training step, we can forward those extracted feature sequences from your invoice data. So this I have passed here, and then finally the training step we will initialize. This is how models are created from scratch. They may have these kind of structures behind different classes, different types of elements, and based on the parameter requirements, you can pass different types of things into. So X and Y from the batch we'll be collecting. So in this case, the Y parameter that we are adding, Y dot unsqueeze 1, because I'm using a tensor with output size of 1, because only one label I have initialized initially, because I don't want to make any classification here. I just want to extract data. Then second element, I'm adding here self forward function that I have created recently. I'm passing X into this, that is your input sequence. This will help you to take input data in the form of X and pass it to the defined layer of your model for the forward operation, that is like something like a neural network based model we generally have, and it will try to process data gathered from your initial sequence of text extracted from the images, and based on that the extraction outcome it will show further. And along with this, we'll pass here forward sequence we have added. Loss function also may be required. So loss function, for example, I'll add here is binary cross entropy loss. Just one example I'm adding here. You can try others also. Then y hat and y float parameters I'll pass. Next to this, self log I'll be creating just to see the training log loss from the model. So that will be within the loss parameter directly, and it will return us the loss function from the training step directly. Moving forward with configure optimizers. So what by default optimizer your model will take, because we are creating model from scratch. So what by default model it will take. So for that I'm passing here a DAM by default. You can try other optimizers also, and it will be self-constrained parameter within our model. So that I am passing. And learning rate also, by default it should take like a random value I have given 0.001. You can try other techniques also. And then I can create my training pipeline based on the initial model sequence that I have created. So I'll write here define train model, and inside this I'll pass first the data set, and that will be invoice data set that we have already created. Inside this invoice data set, we'll use transform, and we'll pass transform dot compose, and within this we'll pass the parameters that we need for the transformation. One is transform your data, whatever you are gathering from your invoices, to a tensor. That is the first stage process. This is transforms name as your system accepts, and then transforms dot normalize. We are just normalizing the text within the extraction. So a random scale will use 0.5 comma 0.5. You can have different numbers for this. I'm just using a random number sequence for creating initial set of your transformed normalized data set. So this is the train model pipeline I have created, and within this I'll pass here the data loader also. So data set I'm passing first of all, then batch size of 2 because we have just 10 images, so there is no purpose of having a bigger batch size. Shuffle I'm making true. Data loader L may be capital because that is the acceptable form of the function. Then the model, finally, the simple OCR model that we have created, that only will be calling. And inside this, the trainer we will deploy with trainer maximum number of epochs I'll pass is equal to 5, and I need to log every entry during this epochs that are running on my system. So I'm keeping it 1 so that every entry gets recorded, and if we need any information about how model fitting process is going on, that we can gather easily. And then I'm passing it to the data loader, and we are trying to fit our model based on this information. Let me see if anything is missing from the sequence. I'm doubtful about this NN, but let me see. I'll just run it, and if it works fine. Okay, one typo I have right here. I need one more bracket here. So it started from here. This one we have added. Okay, so this one, these two brackets and these two, and this one is all together with it. Looks fine. Let me check with the previous function if any bracket is missing in that. We started it right from here, then we added this one. This is attached to this one. The sigmoid function, linear function is fine, flatten is fine, max pooling is fine. Relu function also we have added. This also contains relevant brackets. Then forward we have added all the elements. This one is also done. Okay, so I don't need this one. This has to be into this side. This was just one typo, just opposite bracket I have added. So I have just updated it. And now ultimately we can update live OCR. And for this, I'll just define first a live OCR function over here so that it can help me to extract the data from different set of images that I can have in my data format. Then it will print performing OCR because that is the first thing we will deploy on the system. So this will deploy it, and then image is equal to cv2 dot I am read. I'll pass inside this. I'll write my image path, and then text is equal to py tesseract that we have called initially dot image to string I'm passing here, and then this image I'm inserting. Then I'm writing here print. This has to be the extracted text. And within this extracted text, I can see here print text. Whatever is extracted by the model, that only will be printed by it. And then further, I'll write my main function. So for this, I'll pass here name is equal to main function, and that also with the class link will be creating here. Then I'm just printing sequence, training the OCR model. This is again a static print I'm using. And then I'm calling my train model function that I have created here recently, this train model function, in which I have passed my entire transformation pipeline also. And within this, I'll use my print sequence now. So on the new line, I'll try to print live OCR demo so that we can extract it easily. We can identify the information easily. Demo image path we will insert here. Whatever demo image we want to check, that path we will insert here. And then live OCR demo function I'll call, that I have created recently, that I'll call in the main function now. And inside this, I'll pass the demo image whose address I'll have here. So first I'll get demo image from the synthetic data itself, just to see if it is working fine. Then I'll try to get some additional image also. For instance, maybe image 4 I'll take. I'll just copy its path and I'll try to put it here. And we will try to run this. I have certain typo, let me check. Train model I have to pass.
For that, yeah.
So I'll just run this invoice again, and then I'll try to deploy this model. And I'll just put up this section. We have one more typo, invoice dataset images. Invoice dataset function only I have to check, mainly this one. So inside this synthetic data folder, we have defined, this folder is defined images, right? This one has to be S, because I'm using it with that name only further. NN is not defined. Now we have the last issue with this. Okay, I could identify the error also that was missed initially. Here itself, torch.nn as nn was missing, and due to this only it was not able to find that nn by the end. So let me just run it again. Now it is working fine. Just one option is there. Trainer is not getting data loader. Okay, no problem. I'll just show you with it. Just some typos somewhere in between. Otherwise, the flow we will use in the same pattern. The synthetic dataset that I have created, you can use it with real dataset also later on. So I'll show you with one real invoice image also that I may have already over here. Like, yes, this one I have. So it depends on what type of structure we have within invoice, and if it is compatible with your model that you have trained, it should try to extract your relevant information from here. Currently we have this structure. So in case if the model is compatible with it, it will definitely work. But if the layout of this invoice is not aligned with the layout of your model, then you will not be able to extract. So that error and that challenge we have discussed earlier also, that these are some common problems we find while setting up your initial OCR based text analysis. So for this, I'll be uploading this image here as an sample separately as well. This sample invoice I'll keep here side by side so that I can deploy it. Currently you can see this is the portion that was stuck earlier. This portion basically I'm using, and this is using invoice 8 from synthetic dataset. So for this, it is currently training multiple epochs, and once it identifies, it will show this data we have initially entered into your invoice that we have seen already. But now if I want to see it with this sample invoice, if it works fine or not, that we can also do. For instance, this one, I can enable here. We can just turn it on and we will try to see if from the real image it is able to extract or not. So I'll run this again, and it will just look forward for, okay, metrics is not applicable with this. Okay, in that case, again the layout issue is there, I think, because when I have tested earlier, it was working perfectly fine. There was no error with the layout also. But maybe currently, due to some parameters that I have adjusted in this sequence, maybe the layout issue is occurring. And that challenge we have already discussed while setting up your model initially also. Because when your these models are not defined based on the metric structures that we may have in invoices. For instance, I have shown you this invoice right here, this one. So here entries you have in this section also, in this section also. Sometimes the basic text extraction models are designed in such a manner that they will get data in one sequence only. But when you have this kind of structured sequence in different sections, like you have image also over here, you have these lines also, you have text splitted into two different sections within your image. So within this kind of invoice formats, sometimes your basic models start failing. So that is why sometimes the advanced model that I have listed, like some LLM based models, maybe for specific text extraction we can use, that can handle even different layouts also. And I have talked about layout LM model also for this thing. So if this kind of error persists, because on basic image we have seen that it can extract when we have that initial aligned information available. So it was extracting information on that from the synthetic data itself. But when we are trying to get it on multi-layered images, in that case it is showing that we have issue with the metric shapes on this particular image. With little bit adjustments in this model also, we can even make it compatible with this image. I have tried that earlier, but due to some reason it is not updating right now, and possibly it will not be able to track that entire analysis right now, because every part of the code we may need to analyze for that. However, otherwise you can use the advanced layout LM models that are perfectly suited for these kind of invoice structures. When you have like spread out information within your data, and it cubes both images, text, and some line based contrast, or even colorful or even multilingual text also are available in your data. So those cases are much aligned in case of your advanced layout LM model. And you have layout LM version 3 model also, that is little advanced in comparison to the basic layout model, and it can handle a variety of image formats and document formats also altogether. So while working on this type of data, you can always rely on two elements: what type of OCR you need depending upon the format of data you have, and second element is which deep learning model is compatible with the objective that you want to achieve. Like when you have very basic text extraction, maybe some basic deep learning model, like I have tried here sequential model only, very basic model, and lightweight model I have deployed. So that was capable enough to extract this initial data here. But when I tried to extract data from a multi-layered image where multiple metrics informations are available, then it failed. So these scenarios we may need to avoid by utilizing high-end models. And of course, you can find pre-trained versions of these models also that may help you with easy prediction purposes or easy text extraction. Because in like training an entire model at your end, currently we are doing it on like 8 to 10 images, 10 images only I have used. But for actual accuracy on these OCR text, you need like massive amount of data. And training that kind of model with your initial uh, set of data is little difficult generally. So for this, what we recommend, you can go ahead with some pre-trained models also that are already trained using some extensive data sets that are already containing some huge amount of information relevant to your context that you are trying to preserve from maybe invoices or maybe from some other kind of legal documents or manuscript, etc. And based on that, the extraction can be done easily. And of course, the fine tuning process is always there. So if even if you are using pre-trained model, you can fine tune